My name is Angelo Calderon, and this is Inspire Forward podcast. This is dedicated to guiding listeners on their journey for personal growth and development. It's more than motivation, it goes above and beyond that. It's providing understanding deeply and practical insights about who you can become, where you are currently, and how to navigate your personal growth journey. Now, I don't want to get too much into I want to, I've always been wanting to do this kind of that. I kind of want to cut straight to it just to be for the fact that this episode is to me really important on the very first one. But overall, I have wanted to do this for quite some time, and I'm really glad I'm starting now. The other thing I wanted to mention is that this episode is going to be kind of a set off into the journey I want to take about what kind of this podcast is looking to create and build. I want this to be something about of a community for people who are seeking like-minded individuals who seek personal growth and development. They don't want just the easy saying, easy going kind of thing. They want the actual truth, the actual instructions, routines, habits, customizable to them so they can apply it to their lives. Applying to your life is the most important thing when it comes to independent growth. The second thing is a community of people who seek the exact same thing as you, fellow brothers and sisters who are saying that I want to reach higher heights. I want to be a better person, not just any instance, but in every instance. And the last thing I want to do is make this a platform and space for people to conversate and come together, but also to share it to others because sometimes people don't understand the value in the idea of seeking more and seeking to be a better person. And so, getting back to it, this is about values. And particularly, this is about defining, protecting, and sharing your values. And there's only one person I immediately thought of that provides this as an example, and that guy is Socrates. This guy is one of the greatest, or if not the greatest, philosopher that has ever been because his thought provoking insights. He is someone that in Athens, Greece, was basically questioning everything. If you know who Socrates is, he questioned everything, and not just everything, anyone. The moment that you understand that every single thing can be questioned, should be questioned, it is your responsibility to question, you understand that you are on your own journey to really understanding your world through your own lens. And so, what Socrates was doing at the time was he was uplifting, uprooting authority. And that kind of was a little bit of a problem because back then nobody was thought provoking. And he was the kind of person that says, why are you in that place? Why are you telling us how to do this? It makes no sense. Like, explain yourself. And everybody else kind of just went along with things except him, not him. He was the one who stood on business and said, I'm not going to follow what you're saying. In fact, I'm going to share to others in questioning what you're doing. And so the story I want to talk about is the story of the apology. And in this instance, he is facing trial against authority figures, facing judgment, ready to be exiled because that's what they were going to do anyways. They were definitely going to kill this guy. Um, and there was no way around it. So, but no matter what, he stood by what he was about, and that was seeking truth, wisdom, and the perfection of his soul. And it's really amazing when you think about it because those values, those three values, he defined them and explained it to the authority figures who they themselves were seeking wealth, fame, glory, and acknowledgement of their reputation. This was something that he said, your values are corrupted. My values create me to be a better person, create me to be a better individual. And then I also, and then in this instance, I also share that with the youth of Athens, and they themselves are wanting to have this dialogue to understand themselves, understand the world, and be better people. And he, of course, nobody agreed with him in that. It was a terrible trial for a trial. This is more like a judgment ready to go. But he himself stood in front of all of them. He himself was just declaring it that no matter what they do, because they gave him the opportunity to switch his ideals to turn him over, but he, no matter what, he said, I will never turn them over. These are worth dying for me. And not every instance do we have to take it to the extreme for our own values, but we can take that example of definition. We can take that example of basically protection and sharing them. And Socrates was the perfect example for this because later on those same people he started a lineage because you can kind of tell the lineage from Plato to Aristotle and many more how he was able to start this kind of thought provoking, you know, evolution or how do I put it, era. Either way, this guy made a mission, he completed it successfully. That is no joke. And the best part is that we ourselves can apply this to our own daily lives every day. Definition of our values, protecting them against others, and sharing it to those who are willing to listen. And that is honestly a responsibility for many of us who are in authoritative, you know, figures, who are in authoritative position. I mean, to define our values, share it to others, and protect others' values at the same time. And this can be in any instance, but like I said, you don't have to take this to the extreme. What you can take it to, which is really important, is do you know who you are? Do you know who you are standing to be? Your values are some things or ideas that define you. And these are things you live by. And then when others come into play that basically create this friction against yours, or they're pretty much just making issues in your community because your community values the same things sometimes, well, you are one of those people who are responsible for standing up for those values. And the last thing I would say is that you would have to share those values because there's people who don't know about them, aren't really fully aware of them or fully understand them, and it's your also responsibility to share that with them. And I know I'm saying responsibility, but how can we be people who seek personal development and growth but not want to have a community of those people and want to make a basically an environment that others want to be involved in that? And the most important thing to understand is define, protect, and share. There are different ways that you can do this in when it comes to definition, such as just asking others what their values are, getting that conversation go, sharing, I mean, protecting. The other way is just who are the people you're surrounded by? Are they valuing the same things you are valuing, or are they not? And if they aren't, I mean, you don't always necessarily need to cut them off, but sometimes you might need to minimize the amount of time you're around them because their values conflict with yours. Sometimes it's completely fine and you're both okay to be around each other and there's no issues. Just understand the people you're surrounded with. That's all. And lastly, sharing. When it comes to your own values, sometimes they're really great that you should share. Sometimes they're just personal values that nobody else needs to kind of know. In the instance of personal growth and development, these are ideas that we have ourselves as individuals, always seeking higher heights, that we should share to others. Because how could we not want to live in a world where everybody is always seeking to be better? That just creates friendly, great competition. That just creates great opportunities for everyone. And honestly, that creates an ideal that's being able to pass down from generation to generation. And so those are the few things you could think about when you go into your daily lives and habits. But the most important thing is you have to be vulnerable enough and strong enough to talk about these things, open up about these things, and to really dig deep down about who you are. Because it might not always be easy to say, you know what, I value these things, but I'm not living by these things. For me, it's been something that's very difficult lately, but I think I'm doing better, and this is my way of doing better as well. Creating that platform, that environment for others to communicate together. And so, further in the future, I would like to see more people, hear more people's stories about how they value things, how they're seeking their own personal development, their journey and their path to it. So I want you guys to remember every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the person you aspire to be. Keep moving forward, stay inspired, and never stop growing. Thank you.